5 attributes, just roughly. Tell me if this isn't spot on for the talk to think. Number 1, this type of individual process ideas out loud. They think about possibilities verbally. They test ideas through conversation, thoughts while they're speaking. Tell me Michael McMahon doesn't start phrases with, in a world of infinite possibility, like that, right? I mean, you're ready to go. Number 2, okay, by the way, that first idea, processes ideas out loud, I think a great leadership team, if you have that at your company, really helps because they'll contribute and they will just run with actionable things out of that meeting.
Right.
I think it happens very naturally. Second thing was you engage spontaneously. This happens at my company every day organically. People jump into discussions naturally. They're responding to ideas in real time. Momentum builds through that dialogue. Absolutely happens. Third thing is, contributions happen during the discussion. It's the conversation that generates new ideas. The thinking evolves just through the sharing and the feedback that happens that way. Iterates on others' input. I steal from my friends and business owners all the time. Michael said he does it when he listens to this podcast. We do the same. Number 4, you build on group energy for sure. And we feel that in a meeting when everybody's kicking it in. 5, insights show up through the interactions. I've seen it. Connections between humans that get made during these conversations. The group discussions start blending. And there's even patterns while we're talking. Those 5 things, if you are a person that talks in order to think, you recognize all those behaviors. And yet, listen to the other personality profile, no less important, and I bet you're going to identify with some of those attributes. So the thinker that needs to do that before tech, number 1, they need time to analyze. They like to review the material pretty thoroughly, understand it, examine different angles, and research independently. I am that guy a lot. They prefer advance notice, number 2. They appreciate the pre-work. Plans, they plan to respond ahead of time. They know what they're going to say when objections or questions come up on a subject. They're just really prepared. Number 3, they contribute a lot after reflecting. You need that time to sort of let it marinate, digest it. So when you come back, you're offering polished thoughts and feedback, right? You share views that you can tell when you hear them have been considered, right? And they're complete responses. They're not partial outbursts. Marsha, right? You don't going to get that. These people tend to develop ideas privately. And so they show insights through preparation more than through interaction, which is absolutely true. There's a structured analysis. They can give you, research and footnotes. Anyway, any of those attributes and characteristics I just described, you wouldn't call any of them invaluable, would you? No, they're just knowing I have both of those in my company. All of us have both profiles in our company. How do you mine the wisdom and pull it out of all of those people that you want to hear from? Because they are the special sauce of the company, of your brand. So we're nuts if we don't figure out how to gain their insight, their perspective.
I think that as an external processor, a few things that I try to practice that I hope help with this is, one, if I'm going into a weekly meeting, that's not the time to come up with ideas, right? Unless that's literally what it's dedicated for. But if I'm going into a one-on-one with someone, we need to have a structure to the meeting. That is typically, like, what I do with my one-on-ones is I don't set the agenda. So I let the other person set the agenda so they know what we're going to talk about. And if I am going to bring up ideas, it's at the very end, and I always label it. I say, hey, here's just some thoughts that are coming out. These are just ideas and thoughts. You don't need to take any weight in them, but it's something I'm thinking about, right? So that's one thing, is structure really helps to help us all stay on the same page, right? For both the thinkers and the talkers, right? And the next thing that I really try to do is, whenever I'm going into a meeting where I'm going to be coming up with ideas, I always say, hey, I'm going to give an idea and I'm going to stop talking. And I just want to hear your first reaction. It doesn't have to be the right answer. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just what's the first reaction you have? And I try to break it up like that because if I don't force someone to talk, they're not going to talk if they're a thinker.
Yeah.
And so I force them to just give the first reaction. I say, you don't have to be right. I just want to get your first reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two things that I really try to practice because I know I've been on the other side of this where my boss was a thinker and everything was really had to be like perfect essentially before we discussed it. And I was so just like bursting at the seams where I just wanted to talk. And so I was like, man, there's people that are on the other side of this. I want to make sure that I respect their process.
Yeah. We do our executive team, we do so just a round robin. That's the way that sometimes I get out of it. I feel like I'm pushing an agenda that has, 5 things in it. And I can just see in the room like, oh God, I can see they're interested and passionate, but at the same time they'd like to do something. So I go, let's just do a round robin right now. We'll just go around the room, what comes out. And then what I have learned is if we hit on a theme, so out of the things that I've sort of thrown into the room, if something's coming to the surface that, is ringing a bell for the majority of the room, then we pursue that. And a lot of times for me, it's a way for me to be listener. But again, I don't think I'm good at it. I think I have humility. So I just say, you guys have to tell me when this is too much, because I'm just infinitely passionate for almost everything that we do and everything we talk about. I mean, that's where the good stuff comes from. So I'm amazed, Khalil, when you talk about what you do thoughtfully, I'm thinking like, I'm just starting to actually give a crap, I mean, I'm just,
Well, no, it's really but learning how to harvest and create the space. What Pepper said it great. She said neither one of these styles is wrong, right? Both are valuable. What looks like holding back from some could be thoughtful reflection. What feels like taking over to you when you're might just be you're thinking out loud, and your group has to learn how to manage that, right? And so I think all of us are sort of coming to we need to design the process and the boundaries to allow both of these things to thrive and then capture. For me, I just think I keep coming back to the orchestra conductor. That's what we need to be, not lead singer or lead guitarist, and you're both, but the conductor's the one that's going to create the harmonic sound. Which, let's be honest, that's where the brand value is nowadays. It's how that sound is what's going to take you to the promised land, man.
actually the good analogy or the part of that analogy that resonates with me is lead singer versus the music you make, right? And I think every small business owner, especially if you're an extroverted sort of driver, the rule for a day with me is I have a long list of things I want to accomplish every single day. I never accomplish all those things, yet I get a lot done every day. And I'm not disappointed. The person who wants to develop structure, by the way, the steady relators, the people that literally make this world work, have a clearer idea of what they want to accomplish in the day. They segment that time. They're very disciplined, and they consistently bring, I should say, valuable contribution day in, day out, and people need to know the music. They need to feel like they're hearing the music, even if the lead singer's not there, right? So that's what we have to start doing. You've got to develop these teams that sort of bleed your brand, and intellectually you have to know that some of the highest contributors on the team, most of them, are those people that are thinking about next Tuesday today, or next month, or 2 months from now, while, I'm chasing squirrels, like verbally. all the time. So I think both things need to exist.
Yeah.